Aloha, everyone. Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com. We had an eventful Friday following a nasty reversal on Thursday. Members of Big Wave Trading, nobody should be surprised about that. We've been talking about this. I let everyone know during last week, I raised the yellow flags on this uptrend based on the performance of new longs, some working, some not working, starting to, get a little wonky overall. Then, I believe on Friday, I made a video lesson. I let everybody know that TGTX was on the books for my weekly squeeze scan, and I had a buy stop to here. But I got a hammer candle right off the 50 SMA. So that's actionable to me, even with the lower volume, because it's within a weekly squeeze scan. Now, listen, right now, under yellow flag conditions, I'd rather be buying stocks off support, off the lows, in a consolidation, avoiding breakouts above this high, or this high, but I'm still okay with taking stocks in the middle by the 50 SMA because I haven't gotten completely negative results moving forward on these yet. Well, TGTX triggered, filled, and basically failed immediately on Monday. So on Monday, told everybody, hey, these yellow flag conditions, they're really bad. We're going to go back to the market now. But on Tuesday, we had an bearish engulfing session on heavier volume, and I had more mixed reactions. Basically, so on Monday, SMCI worked while TGTX failed. I believe I posted something on Twitter about that. And then following that session on Tuesday with that engulfing session, I went ahead and raised red flags on this market uptrend. It didn't mean that I'm selling my longs that I was buying in my long-term portfolio back here on the way down, basically nailing the bottom in that portfolio. Didn't mean that I was selling off the quarterly portfolio names, which were beating the S&P 500 by almost 2x this quarter, despite multiple laggards in that portfolio. But based on the recent feedback from swing trade and position trades being completely mixed, and now this bearish engulfing candle, to how extended we are, how long this tight frozen rope price action has been, I raised the red flags on Tuesday on this market uptrend. Red flags remained on Wednesday. Major red flags on Thursday as we saw Meta do nothing with what I consider to be, which I wouldn't consider, to me, the stock is too big. These stocks are too big. But CVNA and Meta, technical buyable gap ups, they squatted and they reversed. So the red flags remained on Thursday. Well, after Friday's session, red flags still remain everywhere, but now I am very cautious, very, very cautious on this market short term, and have gone from still taking trades with reduced size to I would completely avoid all trades in any high tech names for now. Doesn't mean this can't change immediately. Give me an undercut and rally. Let me add the 21 EMA on here. So we finally violated the 21 EMA. I believe it was 68 days above this on either the QQQ or SPY. The longest ever is 109. We were in the 98th percentile, so it was bound to happen. Now, normally after 60 plus days of being above the 21 EMA, when you finally crack it, it doesn't mean that you break down to new lows. It's just part of a cyclical pullback, anywhere from 5 to 10%. Normally, the market moves on higher before having an eventual actual rollover and sell-off. But still, that being said, the red flags were raised on Tuesday. There was plenty of warning signs that something wasn't right. And then following the Microsoft earnings on that reversal also, I forgot to mention, because the Meta and CVNA were actionable, but Microsoft, with it already being so extended and then printing a candle like that, just nasty. It's just not good. And so we saw the follow through today. And then we had Amazon today, not good at all. Apple, not good at all. And we're heading and are in negative seasonality. August and September are the two weakest months of the year. I've always warned about buying stocks during the last week of the earnings month and the first week of the earnings month. That's what we have right now, the last week of July, the first week of August. So you have earnings season, you have the short-term overextended overbought market, the tightrope frozen rope action, the violation of the 21 EMA now, and bear seasonality. If there's ever a time to actually pull back and correct, now is it. So instead of getting completely bearish here, I'm looking for the next round of leaders. What could they be? Well, I let everybody on Twitter know yesterday that RDDT is an actual viable gap up candidate using my opening print or VWAP methodology, and that actually worked very well intraday today. But Reddit is now a leader to me. So Reddit is on my list as a stock to watch very closely for a setup for whenever we do have a follow through day. This one's actionable. Also, IRTC, beautiful earnings beat today. Look at the relative strength line at the bottom of the screen, the white line breaking out to new highs. So Reddit and IRTC are two names that are going to the top of my earnings winners watch list. And so I'll be seeing if they can have any setups. And it's quite possible. Let me see if IRTC, yeah, it's a medical instrument. So it's quite possible IRTC and RDDT make it into my quarterly portfolio next quarter too, based on the way that they're behaving. Today, URBN was of interest, so the stock is still of interest. It does have earnings on the 21st, but that's far enough away. It could be actionable today, but once again, right now, I want to take stocks on the lows, or it needs to be in a completely defensive industry. Retail is not, and there is mixed action right now happening in retail. It looks like the vast majority of them are pulling back. Not all of them, a lot of them are holding up, but I didn't need to see the entire group be strong right now for me to take URBN, and that I don't have. Now, ODD, this would be one off the support that interests me. ODD is a high quality name. This is a top tier name. I would like to get it off the lows. Unfortunately, earnings are on the 4th, and I believe that is Monday. So that can't be in play. Also, LINC off the 50 SMA interests me. Nice tight price action. This would be actionable. Earnings on the 11th. And then two stocks currently in the weekly squeeze scan, pocket pivot point today. One is Elway. Elway just made the scan on Friday. So Friday is the first day of being in the scan. This is what it looks like on a weekly. Beautiful price action. Daily pocket pivot point signal. Technically, I told you guys if it's in a consolidation, makes this weekly squeeze scan, it can be actionable over the high of the day. But Elway has earnings on the 12th. So keep that in mind. And when it doesn't get big volume, it is illiquid. So this wouldn't be the kind of stock that I would be interested in right now, even though it actually is in a defensive industry group. So is there any actionable ideas for Monday? I have one. I sure do. GFI is breaking out kind of a, it's trying to break out almost of a flag pattern. We'll look at it on version 25 telechart. But I got a pocket pivot point signal and heavier above average volume. I wish the relative strength line was a bit stronger, but this is a group move. You got GDX, GLD still looks fine. You have AEM that looks good. EGO squatted a little bit today, but basically this is a group move. So the group is already showing relative strength. GFI is a leader with a 99 composite rating and a 98 earnings per share rating. It's in the weekly squeeze scan. Actionable signal. Is it a chase here? Listen, anytime you buy a breakout in a gold stock, it's risky, but it's still within the consolidation. Would I rather have this pocket pivot point signal here? And was GFI in the scan to give this one here? It sure was. But right here, the market's still looking strong. I'm still looking at tech stocks, but look at where the pocket pivot point signal is. I mean, that's pretty picture perfect right there off the 50 SMA. Sadly, was not of interest on this day for me. Now it is of interest. So it's a little bit of a chase, isn't a breakout. And now I'll show you what it looks like here on this chart. We'll go here. There's currently 8 stocks in the weekly squeeze scan. The daily squeeze scan dropped from 35 to 10 in this one after today's session. And are any actionable? Well, I like to get them off the 21 EMA. There was one that was looking good yesterday, TPC. It was right off the 21 EMA, trying to get it back above the 9. But my issue with TPC is it a hot stock? Is it a well-known name? Is it a group move? Is the market under green flag conditions? No. So look what it did today. No surprise there. But if we're basing that look, if there's anything that has a setup similar to that in my daily squeeze scan, I just don't have it after today's session, which should be no surprise to anyone. considering the sell-off that we had. And then when we go down to the weekly squeeze scan, there's only 8 stocks in there, and you will see GFI is a currently active name. To be in the weekly squeeze scan, you just need to be in a weekly squeeze on the TTM indicator, the TTM squeeze indicator. We have a weekly squeeze, those red dots, but then I need price above the 9 EMA, 9 EMA above the 21 EMA, 21 above the 50 SMA, above the 200 SMA, and the best ones are above the 500 EMA on the weekly. That's a perfect stack right there. We get back to the daily. You can see that downtrend line that I drew. We're actually in a daily squeeze scan, but the daily has to have the same configuration with price, 9 EMA, 21 EMA, 50 SMA, 200 SMA, and the 500 EMA. So GFI, that's how it qualifies for this weekly squeeze scan. This is the bull flag that I see connecting the highs. You can wait for an actual breakout above the bull flag, but since I prefer to get it off the support lows, I'm going to go ahead and use today's high of the day on GFI. So 25.75 will be my trigger. I'll have a limit offset to that good to cancel buy stop limit order at 26. And I'm going to be just risking to this low right here, or you could use a 50 SMA. Now, if you have a really small size, you could technically use this low, but I have no interest. I want this thing to work immediately, or I just want to start getting out. Just like TGTX when I took that cheater position. TGTX, I decided to go ahead and get that 50 SMA. It immediately reversed on me. I'm out. That's it. I'm just out. Taking all that capital and I'm preserving it for the next new long signal. And it happens to be a gold stock GFI. So that is my trade idea for Monday. A lot of end of day sell signals, most from for gains, but we did get long a few stocks lately, and those are for losses. But no harm, no foul. We've been expecting this pullback. We're finally getting it. And right now, while we're under this pullback, I just want to stick to liquid safety stocks. GFI is a leader, 99 comp, 98 earnings per share rating.